just to kind of give some context, what kind of business are you running right now?
So I run a LinkedIn ghostwriting agency. So we're just basically posting twice a week, writing content, extracting content from their through interviews, and then posting them for them on LinkedIn so that they could stay top of mind within their referral network and grow their network.
Nice. And I mean, we've been friends for quite a while, but and you were great at getting meetings booked for yourself. But what was the struggle or the hassle before we started working together?
Yeah. So before we started working together, I run the whole outbound DMs. I had this playbook, um, but I was just doing everything. So the part I needed help with was how can we scale this, or how can I remove myself, most importantly, from um, like the SDR, like setter type of role. And so by having your team come in and run the DMs, and that was super helpful because I could just not worry about going into DMs as much. I still like to look at them, but I don't have to worry about setting appointments or setting calls. They're kind of done for me, and so that it's super helpful. So yeah.
And I mean, thank you for that. And was there any other like tangible challenges of running the business?
Well, the thing about me running the DMs and the outbound, I was capped. My time was capped because I couldn't just do that. I had to do other like the marketing, the post writing, and stuff like that for my account, not for my clients. And and so by having your team jump in and do it, was able to book calls more consistently. Because I only allocated maybe like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there per day. And so it's not like very systematic. And so by removing myself and letting somebody else hop in there, book 10 calls a week. And then, which my goal was to book about 10 calls per week, 40 calls per month, get about 5 to 10 new clients. So yeah, so that was the biggest bottleneck, was to get my outbound to be more to be removed from my tasks, basically.
Fair enough. And okay, so one thing I think most people are like, this is the only real objection that I really get, and is I'm worried about someone else coming into my profile. How did like obviously that was a little concern for you as well, but how's it
Yeah,
been like for like since working together?
yeah, it's yeah. I mean, that was my biggest concern, was not like having somebody else jump into the LinkedIn account, because of like obviously everything going on with LinkedIn. But I think the fact that you use a VPN, also that you're not in the account when I'm in the account, is super helpful because we're on like different time zones, and so the DMs. That's also really cool because I see the DMs go out at night, and in the morning you get to see the replies. And so yeah, so that's been good. No bans, nothing, no notifications from LinkedIn or anything like that. So and yeah, we use Condo, which is super helpful for tagging and labeling the conversations. Makes it just easier to collaborate and not step on each other's shoes. So yeah, it's been yeah, it's been great.
Nice. And in terms of because you've been in this space for a while, you've seen a lot of other people do it, you've talked to other people as well. What like ultimately convinced you to kind of just move ahead with this?
It was just inevitable. Like I don't think as a founder, it's your best. Like at the beginning when you're like trying to get sales, like it's super important to own the whole sales process from understanding what DMs work, all the way to booking the calls and taking a sales call, right? But I think once you scaled past a certain point, and your ops are automated and you're just doing sales and marketing, I think the next logical step for me was, and I think for any founder would be to remove yourself from the setting position, because I think it's something that somebody else could do really effectively if you've built a playbook. So I'm a big believer in that. Nobody comes in with a like you can have other people come in with the playbook, but usually the founder is the best person to come up with the playbook because they went from 0 to 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 100K MRR, right? And so they have the playbook. It's been working. It can be improved. And so, but at least like you understand the whole sales process. And so to have somebody just say, hey, this is what I've been using, can you just do more of it, is I think the best thing that a founder could do. Once I say ops is automated, you could just you're considering removing yourself from at least the setting process of sales and eventually sales altogether.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big believer. Like you might as well figure it out by yourself in the beginning. But um, I mean, the funny thing is, I've actually found our text from like 10 months ago. That's when we first met. I'm curious, um, how do you feel about the whole process, like compared to the past few months of working together?
Yeah. Well, now I would like to open another account and run more outbound in that account. So yeah, I just want to do more. That's just kind of what I want to do, just more of it. Yeah, because honestly, it's between the content, which is super helpful, and then the connection requests and the outbound. Yeah, because I didn't even mention that, but like it just sending the connection request is like super helpful because like it's super tedious work. So as long as you know who your ICP is, and we go through that together and sales them or whatever, and then you could quickly add them, and then yeah, and just like it's just having all the DMs being handled is just like a huge time saver, and so that's changed everything. Like that allows me to just work on more of the marketing stuff and just taking the calls. So yeah, I just want to do more because I think like if we could just have another account booking another 10 calls, then now I'm looking at, oh, now I could potentially hire a salesperson, a closer to actually take those sales calls. So now it's just about ramping up demand or the book calls so that I can place somebody there to take on those calls. And then I can just focus on marketing.
And I think there's more than enough opportunity. The one thing I think most people are just kind of considering when they're trying to decide, is it worth it? Um, in your words, just being brutally honest, do you think it's worth it working with me?
Yeah, yes. Like I said, if you're the founder, if you've scaled past a certain point, I think if honestly, I think if I could have done this much sooner. I think it would have made sense then, because then I could have focused on other tasks. Um, and so yeah, so I would say like I think probably somewhere in the 20K MR makes sense, 30K for sure, beyond that 100%, because yeah, it's just I mean it's a direct ROI. I mean you booking calls right away, and we've had many of them convert. So it pays for itself, especially if you have something that works, just have somebody else do it that can do it repetitively and effectively. So yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
and just the last question. How
Yeah.
fast was it for us to kind of get into your profile and start booking meetings?
That was really quick. I think I don't remember if we booked the first call. First call booked must have been the second week. I think
Yeah.
at that. Yeah. I and also it's not even just that. I didn't even mention this, but it's like reactivating all the leads that I completely dropped the ball on, and that were like conversations I've had like 2 3 months ago, and you guys just come in and just take those back up. So I think maybe some of the early calls were from those, and like those are just low hanging fruit that like are just easy to forget. Especially when you're running a one-man show or like two-man show, like it's just hard to juggle everything and remember to follow up if you don't have like a CRM in place, and like very methodical about it. And that's what's super helpful, is that your team just comes in and just does like that's what they do. That's the only thing on their mind. And so they have the playbook, you have the ICP, and then they have the CRM, and they just and Condo and all the tools, and then they just go one by one and just knock them all out, and you don't have to worry about forgetting a lead.
Thank you, man.